All right, and welcome back, guys, to another Shadow Mark podcast. I am so excited for tonight. I'm excited to be here. Uh, it is myself, Derek Thompson, as always, and with me, as usual, is Mr. TJ Davidson.
What's going on?
And joining us tonight from Irreverent Warriors is Mr. Nate McDonald. I'm so excited to start picking your brain and kind of getting into things, but I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Sure. I'm Nate. I'm the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Irreverent Warriors. We'll, I'm sure, talk a little bit more about that mission a little bit later on. But served in the Marine Corps. I don't know if you can tell by my moto flag back here. I got some decorations, but
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Went all over the place during my career. I was an intelligence operator, so got to do all kinds of fun shit. And then got out, went into contracting. Was an operational contractor for a few different organizations. And then I want to say about 2 years ago, transitioned into full-time work with Irreverent Warriors.
That's awesome. I was going to say we should start your birth, but that seems excessive now that I think about it. I love the...
I think I was 7 pounds, 6 ounces.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Starting out life big, man. Got to start out big.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, now I'm down in Florida. Wife just got out of the Marine Corps in October of last year, and I have a daughter that is 12. And I think that's all the important shit.
Yeah, I think that pretty well.
Yeah,
that pretty well marks off the keys.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll hit everything.
That'll wrap it up, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's a great time having you. I like the moto flag. You got Rob, Marine Corps, hoorah, stuff like that. Other things. Yeah, Semper Kill. That's one of my favorite things. I have to catch myself doing with people. Well, they'll be all like excited about stuff, and I'm like, yeah, kill, and then I'm like, wait, and they kind of look at you, and you're just like, I didn't say that. That didn't happen.
It was semi-ironically, but whatever.
I said let's chill.
Yeah, I said let's chill. Yeah. Though. So dealing with that, it's always fun for me. I suck at it. I still catch myself doing those little like Marine Corps.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, nothing beats a good loud yut when nobody's expecting it to come.
So. And when nobody knows what you're talking about.
That's true.
Like,
that is true.
Like there's like yut. What? Civilian life's hard, man. There's so many little nuances that I have to pick up on. I'm trying to learn still. And I've been out for I think 11 years.
I think when we hit that TAPS class, they should just issue us a translator and they just hang out.
That'd be a great idea. Or somebody to do like, I want to see like the sign language for people like getting out. Like, I want to see a translator do the sign language for all of our stupid crap. Because it's got to be interesting.
There's no way that is going to be politically correct or safe for kids under 27.
No, there's no way. But it'd be interesting to see at least. At the very minimum, sure. I would love to watch it. Like it could be its own TV show. I'd have a great time watching it. You know, that's life for me. I get interested by stupid little stuff like that. So, TJ, do you have any questions to start out with?
Yeah, where are you stationed at?
I spent my entire career at Fort Meade, Maryland.
No kidding.
Not a typical Marine Corps base. But
no, not at all.
The only place I knew of in Maryland was
Pendleton
like Camp David or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what? I got this. I got it. All right. So what made you actually want to go into the military?
Well, that's a good one. So my family, I want to say the majority of my family, very, very respectful of the military and service members. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of them served. My grandpa on my mom's side was a half-track commander in World War II.
No kidding.
He was in the Army, but, you can't have everything.
Yeah, we can't all.
Then I think, yeah, right. And then a couple of my uncles served. But really, it was my grandpa that he used to teach me how to fish and used to shoot with him. He had a bunch of property, and he died when I was pretty young. But I remember every time service came up or the military, like his face would just glow. And it wasn't like that giddy, I killed people. He was just proud. He was just intrinsically proud of his service. And then you'd ask him what he did, and I mean, different generation, right? It was just, I did my duty. It was fine. Like, but still, like, it was just, he instilled that sense of like, I want to feel that. Like, I want to have
that sense of pride
that I served my country. And then I graduated high school early, went to college, ended up I went to law enforcement academy, and then got into diving. And I was like 20, and I was like, dude, if I don't join the Marine Corps, right, or if I don't join the military right now, this is never going to happen. I'm just going to move on with my life and regret it forever. So then I went, and the little hometown, I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin.
Oh, heck yeah.
3,000 people. And all of it, we didn't have a recruiting station, but there was one, I want to say 20 minutes away in Baraboo. So I go down there after I told my parents I was going to get into the military. And I walked down this like mall of like, okay, here's the Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, Army. And I visited them all, went in, took a pamphlet, chatted with them, went on to the next one. And I was like, I'm going to get through every office before I finish this thing. And I did. And every one of them was like, all right, you got college education. You've kept your nose clean. You're in decent shape. Absolutely. What do you want to do? And then I got in the Marine Corps office, and it was the second to last when I walked in. And I walk in the door, and nobody even looked at me. Like, there's two guys just hazing somebody on a pull-up bar. Another guy in like his recruiter fancy clothes sitting across the desk, and he just kind of nonchalantly looks up and he's like, what do you want? I was like, well, this is different. So, I mean, he just kind of pumped me. He was like, well, I'm not going to convince you to join the world's most elite fighting force. Like that. Kind of thing. He's like, if you want to join the Marine Corps, you better want it, because otherwise it's going to go terribly for you. And so I finished that discussion, went home, and I was like, Mom, join the Marine Corps. She's like, what? Why? I told her. She didn't get it, but I'm still glad I did to this day.
Yeah, it's like reverse psychology, man. They just
really
play on you, and you're like, damn it, they got me.
Every time. Did it again.
How'd you know?
And then they do it the entire time you're in too, where you're like, right? I want to do that. And they're like, yeah, you wouldn't want to do that because you're a little bitch. And you're like, I am not. Dive full.
Well, once in a while, you're like, you're right. I just nothing I can say. This is not worth it.
It was funny because we were actually just kind of talking about the different mentalities before you joined us, from how it used to be as to how it is now. So when you're talking about, your grandpa being in, and how he had that sense of pride, and obviously didn't want to like talk about things. We were just kind of talking about that with like shell shock and how that whole thing works out. And we were like, man, because I don't remember what I was listening. I was listening to something the other day, but he's like, yeah, when you had shell shock, they just kind of came back and they were like, don't be a bitch. And you just had to get over it. And that was it. Because if you didn't, you got kicked out. You got the whole kit and caboodle. And I mean, I was like, huh, good for them. That's a great way to deal with it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, even my grandpa, he'd get a few beers in his system, and you'd get a story once in a while. It just, it wasn't something he ever talked about intentionally or sober.
Well, that makes sense. I think that's most of us anyway. Yeah. We're all self-medicating because we're like, I don't need help. As you polish off, 750 of Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or something, you're like, I'm fine.
I think you just named the two bourbons I don't drink anymore. So that's
Jack Daniels, I will not drink due to some bad memories in the Marine Corps with it. So 100% get that.
Yeah, Jim Beam. I played. We had a game of beer pong play that we were going to play, and we'll just say at this location, alcohol was hard to acquire. And I was sent up after NOP. I was sent a Pelican case of what was presumed to be beer. That's what we asked for, and we had the table set up. Everything was set. We were ready to play, and we opened the Pelican case, and it was all Jim Beam. So that's fantastic. We played Jim Beam pong, and now I can't smell it. If I smell it, I'm like, ugh, not good. Yeah.
I'm so glad it's not just me that did that. We did some like Jim Beam or Jack Daniels pong once. Dumbest idea ever. It was just absolutely the worst idea ever. Because you're like,
it's going to get you.
Yeah, it's going to get you every time. You don't even think about it.
It was a great idea at the time, but the next day, not so much.
Yeah.
Nowadays, for me, it'd be like the next few days,
Yeah. I don't know. It was a bad idea 30 minutes into it when you're just like, I screwed up, man.
And then you get over that little hump and you're like, well, it's too late to stop. So let's lean into this.
Yeah, we're just going. That's the thing about the military, too, though. We go 100% in on everything.
Well, you can't half-ass it. You got to whole-ass it.
You whole-ass everything in the military. And that was one of the best parts about it was just whole-assing things. TJ knows a lot about whole-assing things. He's very good at it. Yeah. He's got a lot of stories, I'm pretty sure.
I whole-ass most things.
There was never a chance.
That can be taken in so many ways. I love it.
There's no sexual innuendo here.
Or is there?
No, or is there? Yeah. Oh God. So you do the military thing. How many times were you deployed?
Several. Let's go with several.
I like that. That's a good enough answer for me. That's all I can really ask for. Just, I think TJ did one. I went twice to Afghanistan. It was a fun time. You learn a lot when you're deployed,
Yeah.
You really do.
And dealing with different cultures, it was kind of like it was an interesting learning curve for me.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever actually heard 50 Cent quite as much as I did when I was in Afghanistan. I don't know what the deal was, but Candy Shop was the most popular song on earth over there for some reason or another. And I was just
great.
I loved it, dude. So I'm sorry to interrupt on that. So do you remember Fetty?
Yeah.
So we had a buddy who was he's a
break
Filipino
dancer.
Dude. Yeah, and he's I think they call them B-boys or whatever. So he's a break dancer. And like the dude he'd be standing straight up and can do a backflip in full uniform, right?
Dang.
Yeah. And anyway, we went to the fuel farm one time and they had the TCNs or whoever was working it. So he'd always try to teach them dance moves and stuff. And it's like everybody's seen the videos of them trying to do like jumping jacks, so that they're obviously not going to be very good break dancers. It was hilarious.
They're not.
But the Dougie, that was one of the dance moves that he was teaching them. And I still like the song. This gets stuck in my head all the time, like randomly. But it's they used to always be like, "Hey, buddy, my friend," So it's like, teach me how to, buddy. Teach me how to, buddy.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, I had a very unconventional Marine Corps experience, at least for the majority of my time in, because I was in Fort Meade. I was in special projects, so I was just integrating with different teams, and I did a lot of short-term stuff, which is why the numbers are all like, who knows?
Yeah, just up in the air.
But I mean, it was pretty nice being somewhere and talking to like a National Guardsman that had been there for 14 months. And I was like, yeah, came in yesterday. I'm out in a week.
Yeah. It's like, I'll be out of here. It sucks to be you, bro. God, I don't even know. We had it kind of baffled me how many people tried to get sent home early.
Yeah.
Like we had a guy throw out
Didn't love that pay, huh?
Yeah. We had a guy throw out his heart meds. I talked to my buddy. He was infantry. And they had a guy eat like an entire thing of Tums and gave himself kidney stones to get sent home. And it didn't work. He just ended up with kidney stones, and they treated him like shit. It was unbelievable to me, the stuff the guys did to get sent home. I know for me and one of my other buddies that we used to do the show with, we had a guy try to commit suicide in the smoke pit when we were just about to leave. And it was the weirdest experience because we're going through the base to hand in our rounds, and this door to one of the vans gets kicked right into our face. And it's like, I think it was the sergeant major, and he's like, "Give me your rifle." And we're like, "No. Like, what the fuck do you mean give me your, it's not going to do you any good. We don't even have any rounds. We're turning our rounds in." Holding up a little Ziploc bag full of rounds. And he's like, "You guys are useless." And we're like, "Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much nails it." And we're like, "What is going on here?" So the door shuts, and then again, door gets kicked open. Another person is like, they're like, give me a rifle. And we're like, why? What is going on right now? Walk through the door. We see this guy in the smoke pit, and he's got a rifle to his head, and we're like, oh. And then he's like threatening other people, and we were like, you don't got the balls, bitch, you know, because we were antagonizers back then. And then we sat there, we get done with this whole situation. The guy ended up getting tackled, taken down, and he ended up having to ride back with us when we were flying back to the States. But we got back to our compound afterwards, and my gunny's like, I heard 2 guys may have stirred some shit while they were over at the compound turning shit. When he's like, it didn't happen to be you 2 who did it. And we were like, no. Yeah, it was definitely us. And he's like, yeah, I fucking knew it was you 2. God damn it. Just shook his head. But, oh, God. Those was good times, man.
Dude, it wasn't just that. People got creative trying to avoid going downrange in the first place.
Yeah, right. Like getting pregnant.
Yeah.
Or wait.
When it's a dude, that gets weird.
Yeah, it's really awkward when there's a guy trying to get pregnant.
Actually, I'm impressed, you know.
I'm not even mad.
Like, how did you do that?
Well, his piss test came back pregnant. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, nowadays I don't think you can make that joke anymore.
Oh yeah, not anymore. You're not supposed to, but you know, we're here for.
Hey, them can get pregnant if they want.
Yeah, men birthing. What is that? Birthing people? Is that what it's called? A birthing person. I think
there's a word for it.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Where's
something
between the 3 of us?
Just
surrogate.
We'll just call them the birther. You know,
the birther.
The person that is it the person that grows the baby, but it isn't their baby? Or are you talking about the person that the midwife or the delivery person?
No, I think he's talking about like the different. They're not.
I think you can't call them like
they're not a woman. They're.
Oh.
Yeah, like you can't call them mom anymore. It's like birthing person.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know that
just insane
word.
to me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's what they call them. They call them a birthing person. I'm just like, a woman?
Yeah.
Is that no? Okay.
It's a hibernation chamber.
Yeah, that'd be all right. The hibernation chamber sounds great, man. To be right damn honest with you, sounds phenomenal.
Kind of exotic, you know.
Yeah,
nice.
Sounds great to me. I don't know. Shit.
Classy for sure.
It really is. So anyway, we're talking about the 8 million ways to get out of it. Yeah, we digress. We didn't talk about
off that topic.
Yeah, we're going to get off that before we get ourselves in more trouble. We probably already got ourselves into.
Before we get banned again.
Hey, it's not live, boys.
Yeah, I know, right? That was like, we got banned the second, like when we first started the podcast, like a year and a half ago. We got banned like the second day we had the podcast, man. It was incredible. We were like, how?
That's speed.
Yeah. We were pretty proud of ourselves, to be right honest with you. It was pretty incredible.
We didn't even see it coming. That was the best part. You know, like
you're like, for what?
Yeah, we didn't even know what we did. We actually came into it with a pretty optimistic look at things, and then they're like, "You're banned," and we're like, "What? How does this happen to us?" It kind of sums up our experience. Really does.
Yeah.
So
should have quit just right then.
We should have stopped. We should have stopped while we were ahead. Here we are,
and yet we are.
Yeah,
how
here
long
we
has
are.
The
like
podcast been on?
So we were never broken before, and we had like 40 episodes, and then do some tech or some, I don't know what you want to call
laziness.
That. I don't even know about laziness so much as I would just call it something like
a misunderstanding and miscommunication with our other associate that was with us.
Yeah, we decided to rebrand, kind of restart over, and it's been so great since we have, man. And it was great before, but it's been great since then. We've really kind of buckled down, honed in on things, and we've got a lot of plans to do a lot bigger stuff. And it's been so much fun, just to get to do that and get to talk to some of the people we've gotten to talk to so far. So we're like 50 episodes, 60 episodes in.
That's awesome.
And like I said, we used to do drunken stories. So if you ever want to come on for one of those, it's pretty fun. We talk about cryptids and all sorts of crap like that. Like anything you can think of. It's a good time. We talked about Jeff the Mongoose at one point. It was great. Yeah. we get off on everything. So it's a good time. But on the main pocket, we like to talk about mental health.
Right.
And mentally we need help. So
yes.
That's kind of a lot of what this stuff does for us too. I mean, it's our therapy, so we love doing it.
That's the weird thing about therapy. It's not the same for everybody. Everybody look at the veteran community and they're like, yeah, it's a veteran. A veteran is not a veteran is not a veteran. Like that. That's not how it works.
No.
You could have same service, same number of deployments, same wife. I don't care. Like everything could be the same, and you're gonna have two completely different experiences.
Yeah, chances are you probably had the same wife.
I was gonna say, like, I know some people. Like,
I was gonna say,
could happen.
Sharing is caring, you know.
But yeah, that's why. I mean, sure. I mean, I will make an argument that there are some things that people claim are therapeutic that are probably not. But in general, like I think whatever type of therapy works for you, as unconventional as it may be, get it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's knock out the mental health stuff in this. Let's just knock out the mental health start. That way we can say we did it, because we usually get off topic anyway. And then we'll jump into Irreverent Warriors and how you got into that and everything. And it may tie into each other, you know, obviously. So mental health, you know, we're seeing this rise and increase in suicides within the veteran community. We're at something like 44 a day is the more accurate number, which we've broken down. There's like 130 a day, 44, something like that. 44 more of those are veterans. That's just a ridiculous amount of people committing suicide. And I don't know. I don't know how you change that. I don't know where we go with that. Obviously, for us, we like talking about it and changing the stigma surrounding it. And, you know, there's so many different options. Mm-hmm. So what's your take on kind of like mental health, veterans, and the military?
Dude, I had no idea that it was such a big thing. I mean, I feel like the longer I work in, especially this field, trying to improve mental health and prevent suicide in the veteran community, the more I learn, the more I'm blown away by not just statistics. I mean, you can find all the statistics you want. They're not going to be accurate. That's why people come at you with the 22 a day or whatever else. And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Do a little bit of research. Like, come on, man. Well, and there's, I want to say probably 35 to 40% of the people that I've lost, including my cousin, who I went to basic training with, they died. That was it. They died. Now, it could have been alcohol consumption or a drug overdose or their car ran off the road. Right. If you look at the signs, it paints a different picture. But when it comes to statistics, they're like, nope, that wasn't a suicide. It wasn't a suicide. Which at the time when it's, you know, when you're looking your family's friends in the eyes or you're talking to your family about your cousin, it's not the right time to convince them that it was a suicide or change their minds. Like at that point, the stat doesn't matter, but you know, you're like, I don't know, man. I think a huge part of it, and this is kind of going to roll back into Irreverent Warriors at some point, but I think a huge part of the mental health issues and the increased suicidality in the veteran and military communities is in part due to isolation. And I mean, there's so many different kinds of isolation. The world felt it over the last couple of years, right? Like,
with COVID and everything that happened.
Yeah, you want to talk about an eye-opener for general society when it comes to social isolation. That's it. Everybody felt the pain.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of us enjoyed it to a point, but a lot of people felt the pain. And I feel like that isolation, like a lot of people think it's just like me being in a house, not getting out, just drinking on my couch. And that's, well, I mean, we do that pretty well too, quite often. But I think another part of it is the isolation with your feelings, with your emotions, because you wall everyone else off. Like, those are yours. I'm going to keep them to myself. I'm not going to be vulnerable. I don't want to look weak. And I mean, you can talk about whether or not that stems from your training in the military. I think it's pretty easy for all of us in this room, at least, to say we saw the repercussions of people raising their hand and saying, "Hey, I'm mentally compromised. Yeah, my psychology isn't right. I need help."
Right.
I'm not going to say the military intended to punish them. They intended to help them, I'm sure. But what happened? They got taken off the line. They got put on fire watch. They got sent home from a deployment. In many cases, their careers were screwed up.
They weren't getting
the
help.
military's. You're right. Yeah, it didn't.
They were getting punished. It seemed like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the mentality that we take with us through our careers and then into civilian life. And I mean, when you're talking about men, masculine bravado, we don't share our feelings anyway. So then you stack all of that on top of it. I think it's just a ticking time bomb. When you don't, dispel some of that stigma, get to the root of these conversations and actually engage with your buddies past, "You doing good? Yeah, I'm fine." I don't think anything changes. It's going to take the whole community to change this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not Irreverent Warriors or the VA or your podcast. It's all of us coming at it from every single direction.
Yeah, I mean, obviously awareness has become huge. I mean, I think there is awareness everywhere, and now it's like now there has to be an action plan. Yep. There has to be something going on. We have to start doing something. So it's where do we start? And I think that's where you guys kind of come in with Irreverent Warriors. I think you guys are doing a great job, and I love seeing everything that you guys do. So why don't you start filling us in on Irreverent Warriors, how you got involved with it, what made you kind of kick into this so hard and so heavy?
Well, also,
absolutely.
Could you kind of explain like what Irreverent Warriors is and what you guys do along with that?
Man. Yeah. So I'll kind of do it the reverse order, or the way Derek kind of described it. I'm gonna say how I found out about Irreverent Warriors and got involved, and then what Irreverent Warriors does is going to kind of probably become evident, or I'll paint a really fuzzy picture and you'll have to ask pointed questions. Either way, I'm into it.
If it's clear, it's clear as mud, man. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. So the majority of my military career, I saw mental health as an issue in the service around me, but I didn't really experience it. I wasn't the guy that got shooketh. I wasn't dealing with depression. I was a happy guy. For the most part, I enjoyed my deployments, not in like a sick, demented way, but maybe a little bit. Like I didn't mind the action. It was okay. I generally enjoyed my service. Sure, there's miserable times, but we're going to find something to bitch about. Like always. Come on. We've done it after we transitioned into civilian life too. You got to find something.
It's human nature. You're going to find something to bitch about.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you think about it, no matter what operation you were in or what you guys were doing, if everyone got quiet, that's when you got worried. That's when you were like,
right.
There's some shit going on. When people are talking and bitching and laughing and joking, like all mixed in, you're good. People are venting.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I saw that around me, lost several of the people I served with, both downrange and back home. I knew it was an issue. So I started trying to participate in different nonprofits that were targeting veteran suicide or veteran mental health. I started looking for indicators in my buddies and myself. Like because I was more aware and because I cared, I wanted to be more involved. And I just didn't find anything that was compelling that I was involved in, aside from direct impact from me and my buddies to each other, like that community thing.
Mm.
So that all changed right about the time my last in-service deployment to Afghanistan happened in 2011. And that deployment was my longest deployment by far. But I got to the end of that deployment and had to go home. When I got home, it was for a medical issue. So I got home and it was, hey buddy, This is the last head dent you're going to take. So they looked at all the scans, all the x-rays, and they were like, you don't come back from this one. Like, I know you have before, you don't come back this time. So I had the option of staying in the Marine Corps taken out of my playbook. Like, that wasn't it. I couldn't have told you whether or not I was going to be a lifer. That was never my plan. But as soon as it wasn't my choice, I was bitter. I was mad. So still, I was fine. Got back, got integrated into a contracting job. It was teaching. I didn't really connect with any of the folks that I was working with. And I'd been gone so much that I didn't have a community at home, civilian or otherwise. It was just me and my wife and my kid, who was like 3 months old when I went on that deployment. So I get back and everything kind of melted down. Marriage melted down. She moved back to Wisconsin with my kid, miserable at work. I hadn't dealt with any of my medical issues or psychological issues at all because I didn't have time for that. I was working too much and I was good. And part of that was my pride, because my argument internally was, I can still do the job. Like, put me back in, coach. Like, you took me out too early. I can still be what I was. And so me going to the VA or going to seek treatment from a doctor was me admitting in my mind that I was busted. And I couldn't do that. I didn't want to do that. So I just dealt with it. And all of that shit started to fester. And one day, finished work, got home, talked to one of my buddies. He was having a rough day. He'd found out that one of the guys we deployed with had killed himself. So he started laying a bunch of stuff on me. And then I started hearing stuff. And in that moment, I was so busy having his back and being an ambassador for health and mental well-being that I was, in my mind, I was like, I would never get where this guy's at. Meanwhile, I'm in this pit, staring at my buddy also in a pit, saying, I'll never get where you're at, buddy. I'm good. You need to fix yourself. And I did what I said, what I needed to say. I was there for him. And then the very next night I'm out there and I was having a bad night and my phone didn't ring. Nobody answered my texts. I was just there. Had my quiet place in the country, big old country home, staring down at the lake through the trees. And it was just quiet except for crickets. And that's when it started sinking in, that feeling of just, I am so alone. My kid wasn't there, wife gone. I was alone. And that in that moment, and this is probably that I can remember the only time where I actually contemplated, like, bro, let's quit this. Like, I don't need this. This is dumb. I can't do what I want to do. I'm completely displaced in life. I don't really have a purpose. And then that's when I remembered I'm a dad. And that in that moment, I'd been drinking and just thinking about my daughter and my family and then my buddies. And my viewpoint just started expanding to realize that regardless of whether or not I was alone, I had a community of people from all different walks of life that actually did depend on me in some way, shape, or form. And so in the moment, me just not making a selfish choice was the only reason I'm sitting here. If I had just done the selfish thing, I wanted to be gone. I didn't want any part of it.
Right.
Yeah. And woke up in the morning and sobered up, looked around, and I was like, if that's not a wake-up call, Nate, what is your wake-up call? Like, so that's when I started getting myself right. I got back in the gym, quit drinking, just started focusing on getting healthy, started actually applying myself at work and then finding another job that would make me happier. Just little decisions stacked on little decisions. And one of those was, how can I be more involved in doing something that is effective at combating mental health and suicide issues in my community, my family, the military and veteran community. And so all of that, I know is a long way to get there, but
no, I love it.
I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina at the time. I was working for JSOC as a contractor and happy with my job at that point. I was doing good stuff and kicking butt and back in the saddle and very happy. Everything else was working out. I realized things weren't the end of the world. Had time with my daughter every summer and holidays. Like, things were looking up. One of my buddies hit me up and he said, hey, so we're doing a Silkies hike in Fayetteville. You know anything about it? So I ended up talking to the coordinator. They asked if I would help out in coordinating the Silkies hike. And I was like, all right, what's the concept? They're like, all right, well, we put on boots and rucks and Silkies and we walk around together. And I was like, a ruck on a Saturday in Silkies in public? Sign me up, dude. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
So I ended up scheduling or coordinating this whole event with these guys. Had no idea really what the mission was underneath it, aside from, it can't help. It can't hurt to bring people together. It's got to help. The event was all military and veteran, no civilians. I was like, that sounds like a really cool atmosphere. It's going to be beneficial. And that's where my, healthy mission thought kind of ended. I worked through my local beverage connection buddies, and we got free beer donated at every stop. Ended up planning the route for like 15 miles, finished on a 1 mile upslope. I just didn't. The only other hike I'd been to, the only other Silkies hike I'd been to was like 3 weeks before that. And it was Lejeune, Jacksonville, North Carolina hike. So we're talking 450 hard chargers that just got out of basic training or their MOS school, and they were just rocking and rolling. So that's what I assumed I was dealing with. And what I got in Fayetteville, North Carolina was a different demographic of veteran. So needless to say, by the end of the day, I broke everyone off and everyone was pissed at me and slightly intoxicated. But we had a great day. It was a great hike. But it was a cool exposure to the mission. And it happened almost immediately. I give the pre-hike brief, get all the logistics set, we step off. And I was in the front of the element. And all of a sudden, everybody's just laughing, cutting up a little bit. And all of a sudden, I started hearing the dialogue. And a lot of these people knew each other before, some didn't. But I was watching people that were standing on the fringe at the pre-hike brief just start getting close, start talking, interacting. And over the next, it must have been 10 hours, over the however long that hike and all the stops were, I saw that just build and build. Like, I was hearing people that didn't know anybody. They showed up and were just a silent bystander, sharing their life story with each other, like crying as they're laughing and drinking beer and walking and telling dark jokes and just being goofballs. Like, it was a great time. And it was one of the most therapeutic experiences I'd ever seen for that demographic of veterans. Once again, not every therapy is for everyone, but I've never seen that demographic of veteran that a lot of people consider to be the most high risk. Talking like around the OEF time period, a lot of folks early war coming out, and all the way back to, Vietnam era. I mean, nowadays we have the whole gamut hikes with us, but it was those veterans that you wouldn't typically see going and seeking help. They weren't the veterans that were going to be like, hey, bro, I'm going to go seek counsel. I'm suffering right now. Like, no, we were the veterans that were like, yo, bro, you having a bad day? Let's go get a beer. We'd chat, hang out, get to know each other. We're good to go. Make some dark jokes, walk on. And that was the veterans that I were seeing just connect in mass and talk about the most therapeutic things that I'd heard shared by that type of veteran before. And that's when I realized Silkies hike is just a construct. That's a method of enticing a brand of veteran that desperately needs help. And not all of us, some of us are perfect like us in this room, but I mean, some of our demographic needs help. So I mean, immediately I was like, all right, Silkies hike is just a method. And that's when I got more involved with the organization, started going to more hikes. And once again, I saw one of the most underserved demographics of veterans connect in the truest form that I'd ever seen. And it was my brand of unconventional therapy. It was hanging out, relaxing, doing something. Didn't have to be athletic, but in this case, it was outdoors. That was pretty healthy. Having a few drinks. It was a great time. And yet it was also the therapy that that I needed and so many of the other people in that circle needed. So after that event in Fayetteville, I met Danny Maher, Donnie O'Malley from Vet TV. He was there. He also founded Irreverent Warriors. The national hikes coordinator was there, a lot of leadership. And we had a barbecue the day after the hike. They invited me in. They were like, yo, Nate, we would like you to take a bigger part in the organization. And I was like, no, I'm way too busy. I think it's compelling and it's awesome and stuff. You guys keep it up. I'm too busy. Went back about my life. And 2 weeks later, one of my buddies was like, yo, bro, you want to go to this hike? And then that hike. And by the end of this was 2018, I'd gone to like 20 of those things. Like I just kept being more compelled to go and make a difference. And each one of those events, I found a different way to do something positive. And by the end of that year, they asked again. They were like, all right, bro, now we actually need some help. We had some changes in leadership. You're already doing the job. Can you just take the position? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I dove in head first, took over social media, marketing, public affairs, public relations, like all these aspects of the organization that had never really been developed, and just threw myself into it. I want to say 2 months later, they made me chief operating officer, and later on that spring, they asked me to be vice president. And that's what I've been ever since. And the mission's just gotten healthier and more compelling. Our organization has grown up from just being a bunch of random events all over the place to being every one of those events establishes a local community. We have what follows that is admin and training and social media connection. Our policies have increased, our funding only marginally increased, but everything else is going really, really well. And that's kind of my story with the Irreverent Warriors. It kind of takes us to today.
Yeah, I think it's incredible, man. Like I've been trying to follow you guys for a long time, so I'm just kind of like, it's so cool to see how you've grown, how everything's come to be, and it's great to hear the story behind it, and your story behind it. I love hearing that.
Oh, dude, I'm so proud to be a part of this organization. Like, it's some of the coolest people, most dedicated, loving, patient people I've ever worked with. Nobody's getting paid. It's not for self-esteem. We're not this bloated nonprofit that's handing out paychecks and you get all the acclaim in the world. Relatively speaking, it's pretty quiet. But everybody understands their impact, and they're leaning into that and getting more and more dedicated. They're growing up. And Irreverent Warriors, bro, that helped me mature in so many very healthy ways because I had to be that person for other folks. That kind of takes me back to what I was talking about, in that moment, what kept me alive. And I think that's something we should probably harness within our culture a lot more. If I go to you, TJ, and I'm like, yo, dude, you're drinking yourself to death on the couch. You're getting fat. You're not talking to anybody. You lazy piece of shit. Like, go right now.
This shit's getting personal now. I thought, hey, this shit's getting personal.
Have you been watching me?
But if I'm like, all right, dude, I want you to go do something fucking healthy with your life. Like, I don't care what it is, but you actually, you know what? I'm worried about you. Let's walk over to the VA. You're going to probably be resistant to that pitch just a little bit. Now, if I know you really well, if we're buddies, I'm the only person that can say that shit to you and have it matter. But if I'm just some random stranger, that's going to ring on deaf ears. Now, I come to you as your buddy, and on top of that, I'm like, TJ, bro, I know you're struggling. You got to be here, dude. Like, I need you. Derek needs you. Be a part of the fucking team. Like, if you're going to bail on us, who's there? Like, if we start harnessing that part of us that is loyal to a fault, to each other, to our brothers, our community, our network, I think we're going to have a whole lot more success than getting us to look out for ourselves more often.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
But then that whole investment piece, that's been one of my mantras since I was a kid. I grew up so conservatively. One of the evangelists that I heard growing up, he was a self-proclaimed people person. And one of the things he said just kind of resonated with me as a kid and is stuck with me and just kind of helped me operate in a healthy fashion with other people. and some of that's helped me have a bigger impact. Not like all the people in the world, but the people that I know. And it's people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Like, I could be the most intelligent person. I could have the degrees, you know, if you don't know that I give a shit about you, if I haven't demonstrated my investment in you, those words aren't going to matter as much. And that kind of has been one of the things that has helped push me to try to be that kind of person, to invest in people.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So do you guys, with the Irreverent Warriors, is that you just set up events and do silky hikes and then meet up at bars and stuff afterwards, or what all?
Hell no. We drink the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Well, not the whole time. We dude, I'm going to tell you, and this isn't going to be a surprise to any of you guys, but we do have to hit the whole, hey guys, don't get completely obliterated every event, because people don't even finish the hikes, dude. And then they'll like stumble into the last bar, take an Uber back to the hotel, wake up 15 hours later with a headache, not remembering anybody's name, and go home more depressed than when they got there. And I'm like, that's not it. That's not the method, was not dude.
The point. That was not.
But bro, just my opinion, it's not for everybody, but I think it helps. I really think, especially in our demographic or our community, I think that a couple of beers, a drink or two, maybe a shot, you loosen up a little bit. You relax. Yeah. It takes the edge off. And so many people see alcohol as such a negative substance, and I think it's got some positive attributes.
Yeah, also, it's social lubricant, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it kind of gets people out of that funk, which I get, and I think that's what leads a lot of us down that road of, you know, abusing it, is because we get used to it and we like having it. But I mean, if you learn to just, you know, take it in steps and deal with it correctly, you know, I'm with you, man. I think there's a lot of positives that come from it as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too.
We're not winning any awards for the VA with this conversation.
Yeah, right.
Hey guys, let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about the benefits of alcohol. Right.
See, maybe that's the problem, though. The VA they're not willing to accept the hard truths.
Yeah, they need to get their shit together. But anyway, what I was going to say is, like, also, like, drinking beers or whatever, it loosens you up in the fact that, like, you understand that you don't have to be just proper all the time also. So when you get around these people and you're still trying to act, you know, professional or whatever, you start drinking and like, okay, well, so now maybe I can loosen up a little bit because, like, we're all drinking. So,
yep. Well, I think the Silkies help with that too.
Yeah, yeah.
God, there's a lot of people that don't know what Silkies are.
Let's talk about this real quick here. Oh my gosh, I'm getting excited about this because I'm looking into buying some more Silkies, and I love it. Yeah, I'm looking at Combat Iron and getting some rubber ducky Silkies.
Nice.
And
I've seen those around.
Who is your favorite place? Where would you get your Silkies from? For everyone listening.
Let's see. I am obliged to say Sophie. Sophie is my go-to. That's the OG. Those are the originals, right? So, I mean, that's. I will say that one of my favorite pairs of Silkies that isn't Sophie, and IW carries Sophie Silkies, obviously. Sophie's one of our sponsors. Another one of the brands that I've worn that I love are, I believe, Sunga Life. I don't know if you've seen those.
Ooh, no.
They are high quality, so comfortable. I love it. But I know a lot of people also like thigh huggers. I don't know if you guys have tried those.
I'm a fan of, like, I like the little bit of loose, you know, kind of light. I've been getting a lot of shit because I sat there and I was like, I'm gonna wear my Silkies from now on.
So you're buying them too big. That's the problem.
And they're like, yeah, don't. And please don't.
Yeah. You always size down. Like, that's a rule.
Well, I have to size. I've had to size up because I got, you know, I've gained, you know, I don't know, like 60 pounds since, you know, I was in the military.
You guys wearing them now?
I'm not right now, but I've got my American print ones. They're in my
IW branded.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I got my Vet TV ones somewhere in the bedroom right now. I love my Vet TV stuff, man.
But yeah, that helps too. But people look at it from the outside and they're like, all right, I see 400 people, probably military or veteran. Half of them look like they've been drinking. They're all either mostly naked or wearing a bunch of dumb shit. Like, what the hell is happening here? It's like, you probably won't understand, dude. But it's an amazing time.
It is.
But I agree, TJ. I think the alcohol helps. I think running around in tiny shorts helps.
Absolutely helps.
You can't take yourself seriously when you're in your undies in public with your dudes.
No, you really can't. My neighbor didn't understand it. I used to mow I still would if I had a whole lot of lawn to mow, but I mow in silkies and combat boots. And my neighbor was like, "You do not."
Sounds safety.
And I was like, "I absolutely do." And then I went out there one day and he goes, "What the f- are you wearing?" And I said, "I told you, man. Silkies and combat boots, bro." I said, "This is my mowing attire." So I'm just getting after it. I love it.
It's my maintenance uniform.
Yeah.
This is what
I do.
If you are questioning that, try it. And tell me it does not feel fucking amazing.
It's free.
Yeah, exactly.
Your ankles and toes are protected.
Yeah. You get your PPE.
I don't know what more you need.
You're comfy as all hell.
I will say, in that big old house I had in North Carolina, it had a huge yard, but it was all woods. So you'd hit sticks and pine cones and, animals sometimes with the mower. So I had more like a brush hog. Right. And more like a brush hog. And I was running my brush hog, and I was similarly attired. I had a sleeveless t-shirt, and I mean sleeveless t-shirt. It wasn't a tank top. I had just ripped the sleeves off it. Probably used one of the sleeves at one point. It's toilet paper. We don't know. But
wear another one on your head as a sweatband.
Yeah, it was there.
That's right. Had some
one's toilet paper, one's a do-rag.
Yep. Had some old Marine Corps boots on, my silkies, and and had a rifle slung across my back because I was killing turtles that really needed to die. They were just crushing any other life in my pond. And I was like, well, you must go. And I did check that was not an endangered species of turtle. They were fair game on my private property. So I'd be brush hogging along, and all of a sudden just, I had taped a koozie to the side of the brush hog, which
that's ingenuity.
It's positive. It's a great feature. So I'd take a sip, look down there, see a turtle, stop the brush hog, shoot off the brush hog, keep going. And I didn't realize that that one of the guys from work, and he wasn't a veteran, he was an engineer. And one of the guys from work had drove over because he was going to borrow some tools, and he was sitting there watching me for like 15 minutes. And I look back, and he is rolling on the ground. Apparently it looked retarded, but I was having a blast. Highly suggested.
And that's really
all of those things together. That's living.
That really is living, man. I love that.
I'm never gonna mow my yard the same. I'm just saying. That's it right there. That's the standard.
But yeah, you gotta try the koozie thing. Duct tape and a koozie. You got a cup holder.
That's happening.
This is just now we're engineers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Does that make us like engineers now? We're gonna get all of our friends to tell everybody that we know, like, hey, listen, Nate told me to do this, and it's gonna change your life.
You don't even have to give me credit, bro. I would brand that thing Shadow Mark, and then just you could sell a tiny roll of duct tape and a normal koozie with Shadow Mark, and be like, portable cup holder, bud. I bet
let's just we should do that. Shadow Mark koozies, and then with duct tape, and then it'll be your portable.
I don't have I don't have the time to manage the venture, but I'll take like a 5% royalty, and we'll call it
deal. I'd even go 10%. I'm a generous man.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. See, give us more ideas. We'll just keep pumping them out to you too.
We'll just keep doing.
We'll make you rich. Okay. I mean, for you giving us the ideas, we'll make you rich.
Love it.
we're here for you. This is your platform. We're just here to steal ideas and brand them.
Right.
Well, I love it. So outside of the podcast, is there anything else that you guys have seen in the veteran and military space that you're like, that shit works, like that's super effective?
Oh man, that's a great question. I've seen a lot of shit just because I've had the experience of doing first responder stuff, and none of it's been like actual therapy. Like none of it's been like talk therapy. I mean, I know that works for some people.
For sure.
But
yeah.
I
some
think
people need that shit.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
I might. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm using this unconventional therapy instead.
Yeah, I keep doing that, and like you said, alcohol. As much as people want to douche on it, like the VA especially, I'm like, it helps for sure, especially when in the right situations and in the right what have you.
Sure.
But dark humor, we all have it.
Yeah.
We tend to lean on dark humor.
Everything in balance, really.
Yeah, physical fitness, like you said, man, just getting physically fit. For me, music is a great therapy. I lean on music so much. I post songs all the time, even though I suck at it. But I do it anyway, just to drive people nuts. And then you look at guys like, Donnie O'Malley, and he starts Vet TV and he does everything that he's been doing. And you're like, this is great. You share, you're sharing a part of creativity and just being creative, and people connect with that. So I think there's a ton of things.
Oh yeah. And I think the word you just said kind of sums it up, like connection. You need that connection. I don't care if golfing is your therapy. It could be. I like to hit balls once in a while.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at the game of golf. I'm horrible at it.
Me too.
But if I'm doing it with my buddies, that's therapy.
Yeah, but what I am good at? Drinking beers and fucking shit up. That's
I was just say I go fishing. I may not catch any fish, but I'm going to catch a buzz and have a good time.
Right. It's gonna be great. But yeah, I agree, and I feel the same way. I've seen so many things that are effective, and most of them are just people getting together.
I mean, there's a huge benefit to just having, like you said, that connection and the benefit that comes around it. And that's what it is for us. It's building a community of people that are, like-minded, that can communicate with each other. And we're trying to network and build all these people so that if there's somebody anywhere in the country, I can reach out to them. And if I can't personally talk to them or get somebody in connection with them, I know somebody that can get in connection with them.
I love that.
And just give them something.
So Shadow Mark kind of stepping off point what are your end goals for this thing?
TJ, this is a great question for you because this is kind of your baby, man. You've got a lot of good ideas.
I mean, so this is where we're starting, and we're trying to figure the rest of it out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love it. All right, we got the start.
Yeah, but so one thing that we're doing is we want to start having events, like hikes, and I want to do some have some home run derbies, stuff like that, maybe some golf tournaments, cornhole, things like that. But I want it to be done like not just in Oklahoma and Nebraska, but pretty much everywhere. That way everybody can get involved in it, and try to get maybe some ambassadors in big cities all around the country to help organize things and run it a little bit, And
dude, the power of collaboration. Am I right?
Yeah.
There's so much freaking power in the veteran community, and it's so fragmented. Like it's so fractured. Everybody's fighting over their portion of the veteran community or the veteran market, they'll call it. It's like, chill out, dudes. Work together.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of one of the biggest things for us, and that I've kind of picked up on since we started doing this and getting to network and talk to people. I'd like to I don't care if it's us throwing the event or not, but creating that community and sharing that community with guys like you. We've got all these different outfitters. There's all these little niches, and they're all out there. So how do we become kind of just like a good stepping point So if somebody needs something, we can be like, oh, hey, we're partnered with so-and-so.
Yep. We can get you in touch with them.
Why don't we get you in touch with them and get you what you need?
Hell yeah.
Like, I don't need to be the one. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here for anything other than vets.
I wouldn't be here if I was.
Yeah, you know.
Wait, how much you guys paying me again? I forget.
Oh yeah, apparently that's a thing. That's a thing now. I think Uri Geller asked for like $8,000. Uri Geller asked for like $8,000 to be on the show, and I was like, what?
Dang, dude.
I was like, man, we're just trying to.
Like, listen, man, like we pay to do this show. Like, we don't get paid to do it, you know?
Dude, so $8,000 is 3/4 of my salary for the year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And for my full-time job. Like this, I know the nonprofit space can pay, but I mean, that's not my expectation.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we want to step into is the nonprofit section. But I mean, like I said, man, it's just about, we want to help people. We want to, and vets especially, you know, that's what we're here for. We want to start getting people connected. And for me, especially, like I said, man, it's just about kind of networking and being able to get in touch and kind of bring everyone together.
Yeah.
Instead of, like you said, it's so fractured. It's like everyone's trying to fight for that piece of the pie. And we're just like, hey, how do we get you guys all to work with you guys? And how can we get so-and-so in touch with so-and-so? How do I build more people so that we can reach more people?
We're in the mindset of it's like a one team, one fight kind of thing. Not like, you know, we don't want this guy to be on the podcast because we don't want people to know that they're here because we don't want the competition. You know, like if they're in competition with us, you know, as an air quote that, then like that's who we're going to have on because that's who we want people to hear about. You know?
I mean, we work with other podcasts a lot. We're trying to help them out. We've got our YouTube page, obviously, and then underneath our YouTube playlist is a bunch of other guys' podcasts, and we're like, hey, check these guys out. They're incredible.
That's cool.
Like, it's not just about us. That's not what this is about. This fight is bigger than us. So let's get it out to everyone.
Yeah. Well, there's so much power in storytelling. I mean, you guys could get on there. All three of us could get on a show and talk every freaking day and not connect with everyone. We're not going to be able to. We don't have the experience or the perspective or the passion, whatever else. Right. You guys are doing it the right way. You're not you're not trying to be anything you're not. You're just being real and connecting with the veteran community and letting people share their insights. I love that. I love that collaborative feel.
Yeah, and that's all we want, man. We just want people to get their story out there. We want to be a, you know, conduit to get that out there, to get everyone's word out there.
Yeah.
You know, and as we go, you know, if in 10 years I can sit here and then put together like buy 100 acres and put together a camp where you can just come and do different therapies like equine therapy or, you know, go hunting or do something, that's awesome. And I hope we can get to that point and do something like that. But in the meantime, you know, we just want to bring everyone together and provide more opportunities for people and really get out there for people.
Well, for people who feel like they don't have anybody to talk to or they don't have anybody to go to and stuff like that, we want to get them into like a community of their own, you know. That way they feel like there's a place they can go to vent or talk to people that have similar ideas or have been through similar situations, you know, that will understand what they're going through.
We're a family.
Yeah.
Dude, that's part of this thing that's been so rewarding for me. Like I told you, like I'm just honored to work with the people I work with, top to bottom of the organization. I'm honored to serve and support them. But it's not just IW. Like the people that I've met over the last 5 years are just incredible. I mean, you were mentioning equestrian therapy or what about a cabin in the woods or a place to camp? Like I'm right now thinking of all of those nonprofits. Like I've met them. I know those people.
Yeah,
I can't wait till we have enough staff around Irreverent Warriors where like I don't have to do this all day and I can start engaging a little bit more in collaborative events.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
And that's what we're about, man. We just want to be able to have those resources, those connections, be like, hey, let's get you in touch with them. Let's figure it out. That's what we want to do. You know,
we're trying to bring people together, and then like that's the whole idea around like, you know, want to do the cornhole tournaments and the golf tournaments and the home run derbies and stuff like that, is to get people, you know. So here in Oklahoma, like, I don't know of any veteran groups that I could just go hang out with and do stuff, or, you know, call somebody up to hang out with. So I think it'd be cool to kind of form that, you know, because if you have those events, people are going to meet each other and they're going to end up, you know, hitting it off or whatever, and end up being homies and shit. And I think that's important.
Yep.
Yeah, I just did a rock mark here, so it's like, it's cool to get those people together. And sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna agree. I was like, I'm hightailing it all over the freaking place, and I haven't been able to spend a lot of time to invest in generating a community here. So like my community is scattered across the world, and I'm in my hometown, and I'm like, does anybody want to go do anything? Like, right. I just want to hang out with some people. Like, let's go do some shit.
Right.
But that's what I would love to have happen here. I know where the VFW is, and I know the American Legion. And I know some veterans in the area, but there's just no network for veterans like me. I just don't. You can meet them, but yeah, I can't wait to create my own local community. This is going to be amazing.
Let's make it happen, man.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing we can do, is just try to. It's kind of like creating chapters around the country or around the world where we can just get people like-minded individuals and guys that kind of been there, done that, you know, because, you know, you have the Legion, you have the VFW, you have stuff like that. But I mean, it seems like it's really hard to get like our generation involved in that.
Oh yeah. I mean, out of I want to say 20 or 30 veterans that I know and get along with, mostly that I know at all in the area, like all of them I met through Irreverent Warriors, coming to hikes over the last few years or relocating to the area. Like my whole network here is IW. And even then I'm like, we got to hit this community, guys. Like, come on. I'll go out just about anywhere and meet a veteran. So many of them, though, you engage with them and you're like, let's do something. Yeah, absolutely. And 3 weeks later, no, let's go do something, man. You want to go get a beer? You want to go play pool? I don't care. Let's go do something. Oh, exactly. yeah, absolutely. And you just keep getting passed down the line.
Yep.
Like, bro, why are you so against just having fun, hanging out with people that will understand you, that you might understand and get along with?
Yeah, it's just that, and that's what it is, man. That's why we're here. Family. To me, all you guys are family to me, you know, and that's what I want to keep seeing. And I want to build those numbers and have a bigger family where we can all rely on each other, bullshit with each other if we need anything, you know. Like, I've given my number out 1,000,000 times, I think. When I'm just like, if you need anything, I don't care what time it is, just shoot me a text. Don't call me, because if I don't know your number, chances are I'm not going to answer.
Right.
Oh, bro, yeah. Sometimes that sucks. I'm not going to say I regret it. That sucks. But sometimes you give your phone number to that guy, and first time you met him, you're like, we'll get along. This is going to be all right. Yo, bro, call me anytime. And then after the third time he calls you anytime, you're like, fuck, what did I do? This is so annoying. Like, bro, I don't normally do this, but go find yourself a VA practitioner, please.
Yeah, like
they just call you up, like, what are you doing? I was watching Netflix. Oh, that's cool, man. What show are you watching? Oh, you know. Oh, so what are you wearing?
Yeah, so what? Are you on the couch?
Oh no. Right, are we in love?
It's like, can you reach out to like BetterHelp.com, who's our unofficial not sponsor?
988.
I'm trying to sleep, man. I don't need to know that I don't need to know that you're watching TV alone. I just really didn't need to know that.
But then you didn't make him feel like he mattered.
Yeah, I usually try to, but it gets real hard sometimes. So
it's really hard. You can't. It's impossible to do that 100% of the time.
Oh,
it really fucking is.
I'm trying to be a better person, but
and sometimes you just, honesty is the best policy. Sometimes you got to be like, bro, you're annoying as fuck. I care about you. Don't call me anymore. Like,
it's like,
lose my number.
Call me if it's important, like if you're
right.
If you're really struggling, then you give me a call, like.
Yeah, I love you, man, but unless you got a barrel looking at you, I need you to take a breather, like for right now. Like, I'm struggling. I'm struggling.
Bro, I'm on the struggle bus. Are you though? Like, how much on the bus? Like, are you hanging off the end like you're playing with your magazine, or are you about to pull the trigger? Like, I need scale of 1 to 10. How much you gonna blow your brains out? Because if it's not above an 8, call somebody else.
Yeah, if it ain't above an 8, and if it's above an 8, you should probably call 988. They're probably a little bit more qualified than me, but it's like I get it, but no, I really am. I try my best to be there for everybody, and I think
those talks matter. They really do.
I think it's more about being preemptive than it is being like, I'm probably not the guy to talk to when you're there. Let's try to prevent you from getting there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I'm also the guy that, like I've had people come to me and they're like, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, are you though? Like.
Well, and dark humor aside, because I mean, obviously we excel at that. I mean, the one thing I really struggle with in my patients, like I'm not an asshole. I don't give them a scale of 1 to 10, but at the same time, like if you are just perpetually your own problem, like you're that guy that just isn't putting any effort in. Like if you're not working to improve your mental health and you're trying to make the results of your lack of effort everyone else's problem, that's when I'm probably going to call you out on your shit.
Exactly.
And
a lot of times
do it because I care.
Need that. Yeah, a lot of times people need that. They need somebody to just sit there and be like, listen, bro, you're not fucking helping yourself. Like, get your shit together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it. Not saying we did it very well, but when we were in the service, what made us get to work? What made us actually not kill ourselves by overindulging in substances? Or, I mean, it was a lot of that was pure accountability. A lot of it. Like, you could say it was consequences. Like, no, I'm going to get hazed in the pit a lot of it was just, if I did, you guys were going to kick my butt.
Yeah,
like you were going to be mad, or I was going to negatively impact your existence. Like now you guys were going to get locked up for the weekend.
Now everyone's fucked, and that's the last thing you want. Then fucking everyone's going to be pissed off and hate me, and that's the last fucking thing I need.
Yeah, that's kind of like on my last NJP, they made us come in on a Saturday, and my whole unit had to come in and watch me get NJP'd and lose rank and everything, because to really make an impression, and then. Afterwards, they all went out and drank, fuckers, because I was on restriction. But like it actually, it was entertaining just because of the way everything went down. But
it really is that pure accountability.
It is. It's a huge part of it, man. But I mean, if all you're doing is just listening and you're not providing any of that direct feedback, if you're not helping them stay accountable or even asking them to have an accountability process in the first place, like I think that's the other side of the coin. Like we want to be there, we want to do the right thing. We want to be unselfish no matter how much we're shitheads about it. But I mean, you go too far. If you go to the tipping point on the other side of that balance, now how much are you just enabling them?
Yeah, I was going to say, how much are you
in that fucking position?
You're just don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution, and
for yourself.
Yeah,
start there. But I guess that gets back to what we were talking about earlier. Like maybe more of the time, we need to tell them to maybe look outside of themselves and give a shit about something else.
Yeah, you gotta, and that's fucking hard too, because I do a lot of that too, where like. I'm so hyper focused on everything but my own issues that I forget to take care of them.
Oh, yeah.
So there's got to be, like you said, there's got to be balance in everything we do.
Oh, yeah. And I would take everything that I say with a grain of salt because, I mean, geez, I'm no professional.
Yeah, we usually try to put the disclaimer out there like, we're going to give you some advice, but you might, really,
you might not
really
want
think
to
about it before you try to take our advice,
Yeah, we should
I don't
probably
need to get a
throw up
lawsuit from somebody that shot a neighbor's dog because he got fucked up mowing his lawn in his silkies. Like, I don't need that in my life.
We'll throw up the disclaimer at the beginning of the episode. Like, hey,
he's not going to make a lot of money off me, whoever it is, or
alcohol,
she, or them.
Alcohol may not
first off,
improve all situations.
And I'm no lawyer or anything, but you never said anything about shooting dogs. You were shooting turtles, so
yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah,
that had nothing to do
also
with
doesn't completely get me out of the weeds, but I mean,
not sure.
There's a thread.
Yep. Something to look forward to on that.
I appreciate you guys.
We'll take the bullet for that one.
Yeah.
Don't shoot your neighbor's dog. Anything
do
that's been said, take with a grain of salt. You know, that kind of thing.
But yeah, I mean, I've talked to tons of professionals, like some of them that have studied mental health and psychology their whole lives, and they'll say shit to me, and I'll be like, "That wouldn't work on me."
Yeah,
like you just said it to me, and I almost laughed. Like I don't like. It goes, we're not all the same. Clearly, we're not all the same. But yeah, I've definitely gotten into some. I can't even really call them debates, guys, because like some people just love to argue, and I also kind of like to argue sometimes. And we'll get like 15 or 20 minutes into this thing, and I'll realize they're serious. Then I'm like, oh no,
oh shit.
Yeah, I was just saying this for the entertainment. Like,
bro, I was talking shit. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm so glad. So it's not just me that does that too, because I'll start arguments.
Every statistic I shared was inaccurate. Sorry.
Yeah.
I start arguments for the sake of just like providing a counterpoint to what they're saying, and I have no dog in the fight half the time. I'm just like, I literally just started this to get you fired up and see what you really believe. Like, I actually have no idea. I have no pony in this. I don't care what you think about it. I'm just very curious as to whether you can defend your point or not.
that's like our toxic trait, and I think a lot of veterans share that. Is we just like to stir shit up. You know, like we're just here to stir the pot. You know, and sometimes we take it a little bit too far. You might get banned for life from Facebook or some weird shit like that. But you know,
that would never happen to Joe
taken
Mingo.
Offline.
You know, Joe Mingo's a different person. He's a better man.
Well, that's the spice of life. It really is. I'm not gonna say we were created for conflict, but we sure enjoy it sometimes.
We do a really good job at it, man.
I'm gonna say that Marines are just created for conflict. Like I think, Marines at least. I don't think I've ever met one that just wasn't a little bit of a dick. At least, you know what I'm saying?
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah,
it's in there somewhere.
It's in the DNA.
Sometimes you got to poke the right spot to get it out, but little dick in everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you don't have one, then we'll put a little dick in you. Wait a minute.
That's what she said.
Maybe we should edit that part out later, but whatever.
Yeah,
we'll work.
We'll figure it out.
Whatever. We'll have that.
The delivery was flawless.
Yeah, that's really what matters. TJ's always got flawless delivery. He does a great job at it.
I'm not very good for much, but every now and then I can throw a one-liner out there, you know.
Well, he's got that poker face too. Like he can say that fucked up shit and just.
Yeah, because I look dumb all the time. No matter what I'm saying.
Just believe it.
Yeah, I've got that.
I think he meant that.
Did he mean it? I do that shit a lot too. I'm not sure how many people believe a lot of the shit I say, but I do have a flawless ability of like, I'll say some shit and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
And then like a week later, they'll come back to me and be like, that's not even fucking right. You're so full of it. And I'm like, yeah, you thought I was serious that whole time? I had no idea what I was talking about.
I don't remember saying that. I was just saying shit, you know.
The number of times mid-conversation that I've had to be like, we are irreverent warriors. Like, bro, chill out. Like, I wasn't trying to go there. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful or hurt your feelings or whatever else. Like, relax. It was a little bit of a joke. It's a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
But I mean, I seamlessly transition, and that's probably not my audience's fault.
Yeah.
Probably talking about something real, and then just transition into the joke part.
Yeah.
But there's no delineation between the two.
Well, there shouldn't be. I mean, that's the fun in it, really. You know, it's a
on
joke.
Don't keeps it interesting, you know.
The content most of the time should indicate whether or not it's. I can't even go there.
If it seems a little bit fucked up, it's probably intentional. Like, just understand that, you know?
Well, I mean, you could say the exact same thing to 10 different people in 10 different circumstances, and who the fuck
get a different
knows?
response from everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, perception's funny like that, you know.
It is.
Fucking
It is.
perception. Good insight.
Which is half of communication, which I think is unfair. Like, I'm the one sending the communication. I know the intended message here, but how you receive it is half that balance. And that's fucked up.
Yeah,
That's
so you're wrong. You know, like if you don't receive it the way I meant it, then get your shit together and figure it out. You know,
That's a good point, because you can listen to a song and the writer's initial intention for it, you're going to take something from it that he never intended for you to take from it.
right?
Oh yeah. Sometimes that's great.
Yeah, sometimes it's great. Other times you're like fucking sitting there bawling your eyes out because you're a pussy and you're a grown up, and you're just like, I don't think this was meant to do this to me.
Yeah, and I didn't know the theme for Tarzan could get me like that, but it happened. You know?
Dude,
that shit goes hard. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Phil Collins is the fucking man. That's all I gotta say.
Bro, Derek, I will say though, like I'm with you. I love music. I really love music. Most music. There's some music.
That's how I am.
However, you could play so many very, very popular songs, like world famous songs, and I'd be like, who sings that? I don't know.
I have no idea.
My memory space it's like, the way I describe it, it's like an iceberg. And there's penguins on the iceberg, and new information is another penguin. You throw that penguin on the iceberg, somebody's got to fall off the other end. So I'm like, artist names can't be on that fucking iceberg, or I won't remember where I put my keys. Forget how to take a shit. And then I'm like, oh no. Well, I remember that's Rolling Stones now. Thanks.
Yeah, great. Now
I just shit my pants.
Not again.
Yeah, sweet. Louis Capaldi's stuck in there, but I forgot how to breathe. God damn it. I do that every now and then too. Somebody will say some shit, and I start thinking about it so heavy I fucking forget to breathe. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm such an idiot, you know. So I'm with you. I get that's a great analogy. I'm going to use that from now on. That's a phenomenal.
Every once in a while, I forget to tell the analogy part, and I'm just like, "Bruh, I just lost a penguin." No.
And they're like, "What?
Wait, what?
Are you fucking tripping right now?"
No, it's like I haven't smoked any dope today. Not yet.
That penguin was.
Yeah, that penguin was high. And now he's gone. Oh, that's funny, man. Well, I don't want to keep you all night.
Yeah, I suppose we should save some for next time, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to have you back again. And then if you don't mind sticking around for a minute, we'll fucking wrap this up. But if you don't mind sticking around for just a second, so we can.
I do not.
Bullshit with you just a little bit about some other stuff that I now have questions about. Yeah, debrief. We'll do our whatever you want to call that. Fuck, I can't remember.
So if you thought that podcast was inappropriate, you're missing out on the after party, boys.
Yeah, you're missing out on the after party. We'll have to. That'd be a good fucking episode. That'd be a good podcast fucking thing. Now the debrief.
Yeah, right.
God damn, this is brilliant.
You got to make it some sort of ritual, though.
Now you're up to 20% now. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're at 20%.
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, Nate, thank you for coming on. We're gonna have to have you back. I mean, I loved it. It was great. Get in touch with some more people and keep doing what you're doing. We usually do step off before we leave with something you took from the episode. So I got to ask you, did you take anything from the episode other than the fact that we're absolutely retarded?
Oh, I took so many things away, boys. I really did. No, I'm gonna say this, and take this with a grain of salt, because I don't need your head inflating so much that it just fucking explodes. But I've been on a lot of podcasts, and everybody's got their own little message or mission, method, whatever you want to name it. There's some sort of stick. They're like, all right, well, we have a format, or we have a script, or this is the story we want you to tell, or this is our agenda for what we want you to share. And this is one of the first podcasts I've been on where none of that was there. It was like, we're going to have a natural conversation, and we just want people to honestly share on our fucking podcast. Like, that's amazing. Like, there's a lot of people making a lot of impacts in a lot of different ways, and I appreciate the way you guys are doing it. It's rocks.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. And yeah, no, my head's so I've been kicked in the face so many times now that you don't got to worry about me getting an inflated ego.
It's always kind of swollen at all times, you know.
Yeah, accountability. You know, it's that accountability thing. Peace. That's TJ. What'd you take?
Man, a lot. So I think you guys are doing a great thing, and I'm super proud to even have you on here, and just to get to talk to you about it and everything. And I think kind of pretty much the same mission that we're trying to do. You know, just build a community, get people, veterans together, and let them know that there's people in your area that are just like you. You know, that struggle with the same struggles that you deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's important, that everybody needs to hear that and know that, you know, that they're not alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for me, accountability is key. I thought that was huge.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, holding each other accountable and then holding yourself accountable. I think that's so important. So I love that. TJ, give your spiel. We haven't done it in a while. We need to hear the spiel.
So don't be a cocksucker. If somebody calls you or they reach out to you and they're saying that they're having issues, just listen to them, you know, and try to be helpful about it. And, you know, also reach out and touch somebody. Try to contact somebody that you haven't heard from in a long time, somebody you served with, or people that are sharing dank ass memes on Facebook and they haven't shared any dank ass memes in a while. That might be an indicator that they're going through some shit. So just hit them up and be like, hey, man, what's going on? Like, haven't seen dank ass memes in a little while. You doing all right? Because you never know. That might make the difference.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear. That being said, check us out. We're on Facebook, Society of Misfits, Shadowmark Society of Misfits. I'm going to work on getting Instagram and all that figured out since I'm technologically handicapped. We've it's so hard to figure out. Social media is rough.
I didn't realize that we were this old already.
Yeah, I know. We do officially have a link tree, so that's pretty cool. So if nothing else, check out our pages. I think it's on the Shadowmark Facebook page as well. The link tree, it'll connect you to YouTube, all that. If you listen to the podcast on Spotify or iTunes, give us a like, give us a review. I'd appreciate it. That gets us up in the whatever you want to call the algorithm. And for some reason or another, it'll get you played more and viewed more. So please do that. That being said, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you. Love you guys. Have a great night.